Hey guys, Casual here, and what you're looking at here is the endgame Speedfarm Rain of Arrows build. Quick disclaimer before we get into the video, Dioxide is the first person to make this build, so all credit goes to him, and I'll link his build in the description below. Now this build is great for all endgame content and doing them at incredibly fast speeds, like you're seeing here. Once this build starts to get going, it's very hard to stop using it because of how fun it is, to be honest. I personally completely stopped using the spin to win build because of how much fun I'm having on this build. And without further delay, let's jump right into the build guide. Alright guys, and welcome to the build guide section of the video. To start out, we'll go over our main abilities that we're going to be using to get this build started. 2 ranks into any basic skill on your tree. You go down and you get 1 rank into Flurry, then tree up to improved Flurry. Then we get 3 ranks into Sturdy. Then we will go down to our agility section, which we'll use caltrops. Then we'll scale up to methodical caltrops. We will do 3 ranks into weapon mastery, unstable elixirs, trick attacks, and balestra. Then we'll take 1 rank into dash, then hit enhanced dash, and you can also scale up to methodical dash. I'll tell you where the other skill point is taken out of if you want to do methodical dash. Then we move over to Dark Shroud, and we'll do 3 ranks into Dark Shroud and 1 point into Enhanced Dark Shroud. We'll do 1 rank into Smoke Grenade, and then move up to Countering Smoke Grenade. 3 ranks into Malice and 3 ranks into Exploit. Then we shall do 1 rank into Shadow Imbuement, Poison Imbuement, and Cold Imbuement. And for Cold and Shadow Imbuement, you want to tree up to Mixed for both of them. Then we will do 3 ranks into Alchemical Advantage and 3 ranks into Frigid Finesse. Then, last but not least, for this tree, we'll do our main build, our 5 ranks into Rain of Arrows, and of course you want to do Supreme Rain of Arrows. Now this is where you would take that 1 skill point out if you want to do methodical dash. So you would just take 1 point out of Aftermath, then 3 points into Unto Dawn. So you can do 2 points or 3 points into Aftermath, depending if you're going to use methodical dash or not. 3 ranks into Unto Dawn, 3 ranks into Second Wind, and 3 ranks into Innervation. And of course, we're using our Precision. Next up, let's take a look at our Paragon board. My Paragon board is maxed out. If you are low Paragon level, like in the 100 to 170 range, I recommend just going from glyph socket to glyph socket, then get as many legendary nodes as you possibly can. So, first up, for our beginner slot, we have Control. Moving up, we have Tricks of the Trade, then Headhunter. Moving even further than that, this will be our 3rd one. We'll go to a Deadly Ambush socket, and we'll get Versatility. Moving forward, this will be our 4th slot. We will do No Witnesses, and we will do Combat. And for our last slot, we will go ahead and get to Eldritch Bounty and Fluidity. Now let's move on to our gear. I would say this build is very gear dependent. If you are a new player to Rogue or a new player to Diablo in general, I don't highly recommend getting into this build because of how gear dependent it is. As you can see, you only have 1, 2, 3, 4 ancestral legendaries. Everything else is either unique or mythic. It is very gear dependent, but it is very fun to use, I will say that. So first up are Cal the Nameless. We want our GA into trick attacks and as a triple hit into the GA trick attacks as well. Trick attacks is going to allow us to have increased critical strike damage, which our build is dependent on. Shroud of False Death, we want as many points into all stats as possible. It's going to make life a lot easier. Fist of Fate, we can either get a GA into Lucky Hit Chance or GA into Attack Speed. So if you get the GA into Attack Speed, we want a triple hit into Lucky Hit Chance, and vice versa. If you have a GA into Lucky Hit Chance, we want a triple hit on Attack Speed. Having more Attack Speed will refund our rain of arrows even faster, so we want as much Attack Speed as we can possibly get, with also having over probably like 100 to 150 Lucky Hit Chance. Next up, we have our first Ancestral Legendary with a Frostbin aspect. You want max life or armor GA, and for your tempers you want barrier generation and total armor percentage to bring our armor even more up. Next up we have Beastfall Boots. We want a triple hit into movement speed. I personally didn't get it because my masterworking luck isn't that great. Your Sky Hunter, you want so if you have a GA into critical strike damage, or if you have a GA, if you have a GA into critical strike damage, you want a triple hit into marksman projectiles to cast twice. I have a quadruple GA, so I personally want critical strike damage and a chance for marksman projectiles to cast twice. Alright, moving forward to our swords, we want critical strike damage GAs on both of them. Then for our tempers, we want a chance for rain of arrows to deal double damage and critical strike damage. And for our masterworking, we want critical strike damage, our temper critical strike damage. We want that to be a triple hit. So for our aspect, we want arrow storms and we want vengeful aspect. Moving on to our ring, we want critical strike damage GA, and for our tempers we want critical strike damage and resource generation. And for our aspect, we want the conceited aspect, so we deal increased damage while we have a barrier. And with our pants, we have barrier generation, so we'll always be dealing 25% increased damage as long as we have our barrier up. For our masterworking, we want critical strike damage, our temper critical strike damage to be a triple hit once again. Now, Ring of the Starless Skies, we want this to have attack speed GA, and we want a triple hit into attack speed GA. Unfortunately, I cannot get that. So, moving on to Word of Akan, we want a ultimate damage GA and Rain of Arrows cooldown reduction GA. One or the other works. And for our masterworking, we want a triple hit into Rain of Arrows cooldown reduction. That'll make it so we can cast Rain of Arrows as much as we possibly can. And that's it for this build. As you can see, we are able to do crazy amounts of damage and move through areas as fast as possible. And yeah, this build is really fun. I recommend you give it a try. And make sure to follow the Twitch. If you need anything, I will be sure to give it to you if you're trying to make this build. And I'll see you guys later. Bye-bye.